be calling my soul. The music be calling my soul. I pick up the pen and I go. Niggas ain't ready for war on the road. I get the gold as I travel. They baffled at how I could dabble but stay on my toes. Never get caught up with hoes. I got a queen. Me and my team been going for green since Tiger Woods came on the scene. That was in 96, I was in 95, way before Biggie died. I caught the spirit like I'ma keep him alive. Left for Atlanta. 20 years later, I moved to Savannah to work on my grammar. Now I'm a scholar. I can teach you by the dollar. Got the gang by his collar. Talking niggas out they product. I'm a product of my father. Making a promise at the altar. Getting game since a toddler. Boy, you made it, why bother? Can't you see I'm way hotter? I got the magic like Potter. Turn the mic into a chopper. Turn the beat into a slaughter. Ride the floor, I made it water. Fly it then a flying saucer. Play the game, it's gonna cost you shit. I do this shit for my future daughter. Of course they gon' fuck with me, check my aura. I cannot need you if you're not supportive. Remember when I was just flipping them quarters? Now I'm at quarters, I'm giving out orders. I don't need a lawyer cause it's all legit. Never forget I'm as real as it gets. You bitches can't have me, they throwing a fit. Hop on my dick, hop in the wheel, head to the bay. That's how I'm feeling today. Changing my ways, putting more trust in the universe than I do trust in the face. Fuck do I look like? Niggas ain't built like me, they don't look right. Gunfight, pull up with a knife, it's a good night. Left, right, I'm a cheat code that you can't tie. Zoom tight, that was my first word. Sit like I know that God is blessing me. I know they'll be testing me. I'ma pull off in the Tesla. Fuck you, good luck catching me. I know that God is blessing me. I know the Lord be testing me. I'ma pull off in the Tesla. Fuck you, good luck catching me. Music be calling my soul. Yeah, that shit be calling my soul.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You watch your Dave B on TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And today, you know what I'm saying, just a real quick spiritual live, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, turn that down. Real quick spiritual live before I clock in, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make a this ain't gonna be no heavy. I mean, we can refer to astrology and stuff like that because y'all know that's what's going on, but it's really about spiritual matters. And not just, you know, one thing about spirituality and stuff like that, we know we got to balance it out with real life. And we can't be afraid to, you know, all this learning and stuff that we be doing online and stuff, that's cool. But, you know, we already been pushing like real life things, like getting out into the world again to actually engage, you know what I'm saying? All this nice spiritual knowledge, that's cool to know. But how are you actually applying this in your real life? You know what I'm saying? And now is that time where just energetically, we all feeling this push to, you know, Leo season. So it's all, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, we want to express ourselves. But another aspect of things is it's the last portion of the summer coming up, you know what I'm saying? Virgo season coming up. So that's all about results, you know what I'm saying? We got to see this shit in real life. We can't keep doing spiritual things behind closed doors but not be applying these principles in actual reality. And part of that looks like engaging with the world. And we all know, like, it's not fun to engage in the world, but that's the thing. Life is not about feeling good. Life is not about fun time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you are gifted with a way of seeing the world that you know can help others, you have to play that role. You have to step into that example, that leadership position, and actually, you know, be commanding things in your life. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that every spiritual person isn't on a platform? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't these spiritual people, why aren't we as a community putting together things to actually, you know, get things engaged and get things flowing? I mean, I say we, but, you know, I'm building shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm building shit. The people I know is building shit. But, you know, we and really, this is, even though I'm talking like, you know, it's like I'm really not trying to be overly aggressive or anything. I'm just kind of saying what it is right now. Like, this is that time where, you know, the shift into Virgo season is that we need to start to actually get this stuff flowing and rolling, and so that we can engage the, you know, say, look like we kind of, you know, because one of the things is like I said before, being the example, like leading, you know what I'm saying, showing you are a representation of a leader. If you got the mind for it, then we have to actually demonstrate what that mind can do. You know what I'm saying? I put a post up that was saying basically, you know, when you take action and you execute your ideas, that's you proving to God that you're not taking life for granted. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things, you know, yeah, it's cool. You know, I get it. We look around and it's some bullshit that we in as far as the world has been constructed around us and how things are operating, right? Because we feel as though we wasn't in the rooms when those discussions was being had. So when we got to do things like clocking to work and shit like that, that's a damper on the spirit. The spirit want to be free and do what it wants to do. But one of the most important things is like, we can't turn that into an excuse. We can't turn that into a reason to not actually put forth effort to change the world. You know what I'm saying? And part of changing the world is getting out and actually, you know, putting our minds to test. You know, all these good ideas that we have when we in our rooms and in our spiritual spaces, we have to bring this to the world and present it. So this is kind of just, you know, again, this is a reminder to that more so than anything. You know, when I say spirit talk life as you knew it, you know what I'm saying? You knew life as this fairy tale land thing where, you know, even if you looked at yourself as a victim, you saw the world a certain way. But you know, we ain't no victims. We know that, right? Everything is a choice. Everything comes down to choices. The choices that you make every day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like, hey, we got to get out into the world. We gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? We got to make magic happen. What up, Velo? So we got to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? He said, I bet you can't do 20 push-ups, bro. Hey, man, I just did 100. So for the most part, you know, that's the thing about spirituality. You know, it's cool to talk about, but we already know as far as spiritual warfare goes, what really is spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is really an attack on the mind, the way people think. You know, the world is controlled by worldviews, these different religions, these schools of thought and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at these things, again, at least now, right? The way in which the world was ran, there was never really an opportunity like there is now to actually present all sides of real, like to actually break through that veil. You know what I'm saying? It was already these structures that was put in place that kind of blocked a lot of people from adopting different ideas and different worldviews, right? But what the internet did that, you know, the government really couldn't predict was it gave light to all aspects of how you could see reality. And when certain people like us started getting on the internet and speaking that real shit and making noise and getting traction, that's when things kind of, they started to see the difference. And then when you look at the 2020 shit where they try to get everybody online, that's when people started going extra hard with it, and they realized to get their infrastructure changed, they had to sacrifice certain aspects that they was able to lock down previously due to not having something like the internet, which was open and free for everybody to get on and present themselves. And now they can't hide true charisma, they can't hide true character, and everything that they built, we see it crumbling. You know what I'm saying? Everything we see the government put up that was something substantial to be respected is no longer that. We can't respect religion. We can't respect these different things, and people still in it. And a lot of times, you know, especially people coming up, you know, young people, we look at our parents, right? And sometimes, you know, it hurts sometimes because you be wanting to put them on to what you know, because you might be the older spirit. You might be an older spirit than them, even though they're your parents. But the thing about it is, what, you know, this is not about trying to, you know, how old spiritual practices will tell you, right, where you have to be disruptive and rebellious against your parents, and, you know, or just people in your life. You got to run away from people in your life. You can't engage, like all that running away from the actual conversations that need to happen, where, you know, again, you know what you know, and you know they might be lost in something, right? You don't have to present it in an aggressive way. You ain't gotta ruin their idea of the world and, you know, bring them out the matrix and shit. But you as an individual in your everyday life, you play a part. You can be an example of your type of lifestyle, your energy signature as a unique individual. That is what spirituality really is about. It's about you building your individuality to establish a character from your natural energy, to where you don't have to go outside of yourself and portray the same old roles and positions that all these other individuals in the world who are lost play out. You know what I'm saying? The generic, again, like I said, pop culture type people, everybody you see online as content creators that only want to sell you something. Fuck all that shit. If you this is deeper than trying to sell you something. And there be real people in the world, right? Y'all who tune in and shit like that. Shout out to Teresa. You know what I'm saying? Y'all who tune in and stuff like that to this, y'all who create content like this, when y'all speaking from a real place, a real genuine place, you got, even if you're just a artist or a creator, you got real genuine energy, right? even that in and of itself is spirituality. You know what I'm saying? And so you owe it to yourself to be in your everyday life and be who you are and represent that energy and be an example. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't about, like, even when we talk about spirituality and even when I tap into astrology, you know what I'm saying? That is not about trying to turn it into another religion where, again, we trying to follow some kind of doctrine and this is right, this is wrong, this is going to make me $1,000,000, this is going to make me, you know, all these forms of divination that people get lost in. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Astrology is like times and measurements, and we could see, you know, all this energy influence and this, that, and the third. That's all fine and dandy, but we got to bring it back to real life. Are you actually applying these things? You know what I'm saying? Your astrology, your natal chart isn't something for you to get lost in, as in, oh, I just act like this. I know I ain't shit, or I know I ain't gonna do this, that, and the third because I'm just an Aquarius, or I'm just this. It's like we have to go way beyond just knowing zodiac signs. These energies is for us to recognize our natures and where we may fall short, but also where we have access to tap into energy pockets that help us convey a true message, help us convey what our spirit is trying to communicate. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, let's not get lost in all this time. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get lost in this. You said, what the fuck, this black guy? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And even conversations like that, you know, why are people still talking in that way where everything comes down to race and things like that? It's a shame, you know what I'm saying? Unless you know where a person's mind frame is. And that's where we see the majority of the world. And that's what I mean by bringing things back to life, getting in reality and being the example. Because obviously you see people got the wrong things on their mind. People who still caught up in trying to vote. People, you know what I'm saying? People who caught up in all these different, you know, tropes based upon what they're desiring, based upon what they're traumatized by too. Because the thing about it is individuals grow up with desires, but then they don't get that desire and they become demons and turn on everybody else around them. And they perpetuate this hurt people energy. You know what I'm saying? You got people, family members who are overtaken by their own demons, you know what I'm saying, desires that go all the way down to sexual desires, to the point where they, you know what I'm saying, and no trigger warning, you know what I'm saying, but they do things to other individuals in their family line to perpetuate these generational curses. And all these types of things do is fuck up people's ways of thinking. People get hooked on substances trying to escape and find some kind of solace, and it's like that becomes a desire in and of itself. And all of this shit is fucked up, because at the end of the day, it's majority of people are really just trying to run from something and chasing things. They got y'all running from stuff and chasing shit, running from things they afraid of, trying to chase things that make them feel more fulfilled and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, you know, it's like, if we know better, we got to do better. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Stephen Marino. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, yeah, you said crazy people, real. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And the thing about it is, these be people who, the reason they crazy is because, like I said, you know, people end up in situations, they traumatized and they trying to look for something. So they running from stuff in their own personal life. They running from their own demons. They can't sit in a room by themselves. Even trolls who end up online, you know, that's why they're online all day, is because they can't sit with their own thoughts for more than 5 seconds. They got to scroll on something. They gotta run to something to give them some kind of dopamine and fulfillment, because they unfulfilled spirits, don't know what their purpose is out here. Again, the closest thing you got to a purpose is trying to be a part of some kind of race bait, where either you a racist, or you involved in racist affairs, and that don't really equate to nothing. You know what I'm saying? When has that ever got you anything substantial? When has that ever got you into a position where you can actually put people in place? You said, do you believe God? I probably don't believe in your version of God. I believe in all possibilities. You probably believe in some kind of religious God or some kind of racial God. That's why you concerned on physical flesh. And that's the furthest your mind probably can go. Shout out to Light Voyage. You know what I'm saying? And that's, again, you're so much more than that. You know what I'm saying? You said stop talking. Hey, you watching me talk. So thank you for giving me all your energy and your attention, because that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I need. So shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? You must fuck with this. So, you know, when we talk about this stuff, like I said, we need to be a representation of what we really got going on. My boy, Light Voyage, you already know, right? You know what I'm saying? Boy, you watching me. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a damn shame. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, stay if you want to. You know what I'm saying? or leave. It don't matter to me. But you watching me, I don't know who you are, you know. But that's the thing. Us with real knowledge, us with real wisdom, we got to be representations, and we got to show up. You know what I'm saying? God need us to show up so it can play out through us. God needs us as vessels. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Even again, you owe it to yourself to get these ideas you got that you know can be impactful to the world. It's some people right now with really powerful ideas that can help their next door neighbors or their people that they know and they connected to, the people that they love, their families. These ideas can work, but you got to believe in it, and you got to be a vessel for that. You got to carry out that energy, and you got to know, you got to do what's right, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is like a nice little firetron in the sky. So yeah, I'm coming off a little passionate, and I'm trying to get all this out before I gotta clock in. You know, and that's the reality of it too. You know what I'm saying? We really on some real shit. Shout out to Mooney Mercury, baby. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tune into him too, because he be kicking that real. But this is what it really come down to. You know what I'm saying? It's like we cannot play around. Virgo season, nah, not stop. Fuck all that playing around shit. Fuck all that letting stuff slide. We have to actually step up and be who we are. You know what I'm saying? You said, let's save the bees, man. Look, anything related to environmental shit, you got to understand the earth is beyond, like, I mean, if you want to do that, go ahead, do that. I ain't even gonna, man, I ain't got to waste time with you. But shout out to you. Shout out for coming through. You know what I mean? Save the bees, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's that weirdo dude, you know. But anyway, you know, that's what it really comes down to. We got to actually be representations of what we believe in. Because anytime we let things slide, you're right. That's why you said government bots. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Their mind is locked into a certain way of seeing things, and that's the thing. If we know better, we got to do better, and that's all I can really say about it. You know, when we actually in this position, you know, the world, the way it's going, it's like this stuff was already made before we even came here. So, and again, we might have been here before, and in the process of this 2,000 years, how we talk about. But the thing about it is, we see a shift right now, and there's a golden opportunity for us to step up and be representations of something real, to establish actual structures in the world. And the way we got to do that is we got to be first of all, you got to know yourself. But now that, and again, I'm speaking from multiple different perspectives. There's a lot of us, right? The people I'm talking to, what up, Limitless? The people I'm talking to, the people I'm shouting out, we already been doing this for so long. At this point, there is nothing left to do. Hey, Etheric Moss in the building. There's nothing left to do but actually exercise what we've been learning about for all these years, to actually put it into practice, to put something on this nice little stage that they got called the world that is open right now. There is nothing of substance out right now. Everything is a sequel. Everything is trash, watered down. The food ain't shit. Everything right now is open for us to actually tap into and build something, man. Build something substantial. And you know, when it comes down to it too, you know, that's why I said life as you knew it before, it don't exist no more, man. We know, we already been known and established that we in a whole new world. But again, I'm tired of not seeing no new shit. And the thing about it is too, energetically, it takes time. You know what I'm saying? It takes a whole lot of time and patience and persistence. But again, this is what God had to deal with. This is the type of shit God looked at certain things. Like, God don't concern itself with time. Like I said, time is a resource, and it's a gift that we've been given. It's something that we utilize. You know, it's like, what are we gonna fulfill with this time span? What are we gonna put into this mark from this moment you was born to the moment you do end up going on to the next realm or whatever? What are you going to fulfill that space with? And if all you fulfill that space with is a bunch of fear and a bunch of hesitation, a bunch of procrastinating, a bunch of waiting and debating about stuff that matters none, then what did you really fulfill that time with? It's no one. It's like, again, you useless to existence. God can't work with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the next step of everything is we have to apply these things. We have to get out and we have to engage back with the world. You know what I'm saying? And engage in it from a leadership mindset. I said set. I'm trying to say state, but y'all get what I'm saying. A state of being, of just being a leader. And at this point, we can understand and acknowledge the fact that, wow, the people that run the world, they are younger spirits. Or even if they are older spirits, how the fuck they let it get to this point where you got a bunch of people walking around with no idea, no clue of where to go? And again, you understand, if you get really deep into it, you understand why it's like that. Because it works in their favor, because those are the people that they can still lead to whatever slaughterhouse they want to lead them to, or to lead to build their buildings. But what about our buildings? We got minds and we know how to use them. So we need to start establishing ourselves and putting ourselves in authority positions so that we can start to influence enough people to build what we need built. Because again, like I said, a lot of y'all got beautiful ideas that deserve something, that deserves some form or fashion in reality for it to exist. You know what I'm saying? You say exactly what I deserve to hear right now. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming through. And that's real shit. Like I said, I really got, I'm trying not to rush the message, but I do got to clock in soon. But, and that's my point too. Whatever you doing right now, right? Energetically, it's a lot of tests going on right now. You know, with Mercury, Virgo retrograde, Mercury going retrograde in Virgo, rethinking, reworking stuff. It's 0 degrees now, so it's about to tap into Leo. So right now, like anytime we going through retrogrades, back to the drawing board energy, where we're trying to re-coordinate what we thought was the right way to go, and all of us got to take a step back now. But the type of shit that we need to re-engage is things that's actually going to help us with the overall expression of our truth, expression of what's on our heart. You know what I'm saying? That authentic type energy that comes from that solar plexus, that comes from your individuality. But a lot of people, again, and it's not your fault, right? But on some level, you got to take that accountability to acknowledge the fact that you've allowed fear and different desires that led you towards distractions to keep you from doing what it is that you need to do. So at this point in time, it's like, look, wake up. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to feel ashamed. You ain't got to feel like, oh, damn, I ain't did this in so long. I'm a little rusty. You ain't got to give no excuse. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just get up and do it. And right now, that's the test right now, because everybody's unsure about what it is that they presenting in the first place. Everybody's a little curious, a little unsure, probably want more information. And some people really do need that more information. But one of the most valuable things you can get out of life is experience. So instead of worrying about whether or not you know everything and whether or not you got all the information, there's way more value in pure experience. Because even if you fuck up, that's mental material you can take and build more things with. And then when people see you trying, when people see you putting effort towards something, whether you know what you're doing or not, if it's coming from a real place, you will get support. And even though we know, like, okay, we can post online and the people we know in our everyday life might not say nothing about what we post. They might not. But again, that's not the point, because that's just a representation of you chasing validation. The people who really believe, who really supposed to be there with you, the people who really resonate with you, the people support that actually matters, is going to be the people who do interact with your stuff, engage with your stuff. But again, everything can't be, you got to keep in mind too, everything can't be based upon you trying to get validation. And even if you posting things right now and not getting hella likes or engagement, it goes so much deeper than that, because then you got to look in your real life. Like, and also here's the thing too, this is just being fair. Look at what it is you posted and the quality of it. Now, again, we going into Virgo season, so we got to be critical a little bit on what we try to express in the first place. Be a little, like, start to really look at your content and the quality of it, right? And ask, and if you can't see it, start to actually, instead of asking people to do stuff for you and promote your stuff, ask people to actually constructively criticize something that you made. People you trust, people that you mess with, people in your audience. Start to actually pay attention to what it is that you're doing as a craft and whether or not it's high enough quality to get the engagement you think you deserve. Because if you really believe in yourself, there should be a push to want to improve upon what it is that you do, your craft, what you do. And craft can be anything, whether you make videos, whether you make art, whether you make merchandise, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is that you build, you know what I'm saying. So we can't pretend like, oh, just because I got some spiritual knowledge, all my content's supposed to be a hit. All my content's supposed to, sometimes you got to look at yourself and understand the context. You in a world that has certain, you know, it's like if you were trying to win a fashion contest, right? And the theme of the fashion is summer wear, but you came in that bitch with a coat. You got to understand, you didn't understand the assignment. You didn't get the context. In this world, there's a certain, you got to have things to be aesthetically pleasing. There's a certain vibe, like a way of going about stuff that you might have to incorporate into your uniqueness in order to come up with something that actually works. And you have to be willing to criticize yourself and take away what's not working. Like, man, yeah, I've been posting content for years, not getting no traction. It might not be working. It might not be something that's working. So you might have to actually take a step back and readdress it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that in a very, like, trying to keep it light, but it's a very real thing. Because again, any real artist knows, even when it come down to music, sometimes you write a lyric and you got to go back and rewrite that shit because it just didn't flow right. Sometimes you drop a song and you listen to it over and over again, and yeah, other people might like it, but sometimes you got to be willing to tap into yourself and want to improve your own craft. Even a video, even a live stream, like looking at this stuff and just being like, you know, I could have hit that better. And it's like, the point of it is, we know with thoughts and feelings, we don't have to get bogged down by these things. These things either dilute or enhance your truth. So the thing about it is how you feel about what you create. Sometimes take that into consideration in order for you to remix it into something better. You know what I'm saying? We got to see improvement. We can't just be stagnant and be satisfied with mediocre shit. And that's the thing about it too. Just because you think you tapped into some kind of spiritual realm or whatever, it's not an excuse to be mediocre. And sometimes you might feel entitled to a certain level of engagement or reaction, but you got to look at yourself and say, well, maybe there's something more I need to incorporate into what I do. Because if this is what I truly do, then I need to dedicate my energy to it, my attention to it, invest in it. You know what I'm saying? And again, investment doesn't mean go broke, but consider the idea that if you are broke, you ain't got enough money to invest into your craft, real physical money, you might need to clock into that job. You might need to do more hours. You know what I'm saying? You might need to, even if you do go to that job complaining, consider what it's actually for, and then that complaint will lessen a little bit, and do what works for you. Because it's not all about everybody getting a 9-to-5 or everybody just trying to do, you know, work for themselves or be entrepreneurs. What works for you? I said in that time management video, you got to create a system that works for you. That is what Saturn is about. You know what I'm saying? Saturn is about systems. So anytime you're trying to connect to reality, look at the reality of your situation, understand the system that you operating under and whether or not it's giving you the results that you actually want. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Blazer Mello. You said, couldn't agree more. People are a waste of space. There's no value, nothing to back their ego up. Right. Again, if you just doing everything for the look, nobody can connect to it. There's nothing of value there. We don't care about that. Nobody cares about that. And again, the world might look like it cares about that because you might see somebody else who plays out a characteristic or some kind of face that gets 1 million views on YouTube and they ain't talking about shit. But see, you got to understand that when you start to see that, these are people who've been selected to be basically a puppet to push a narrative that they already got going on. So the money you might think they getting or the fame and notoriety they getting, it's artificial to begin with. But when you actually put real genuine energy out there, real genuine shit, and you gain traction, the difference is that shit is real. That shit is 10 times more potent. And when you utilize that shit for something, that's the type of shit that lasts lifetimes, generations, and eons and things like that. That's type of energy that cannot be denied. So don't get caught up in what you see as the views or what you see as the likes and the engagement. That shit is very temporary. You don't know what's going on behind those creators' lives. They shaking hands with individuals getting caught up in contracts that you have no idea. And probably if you did know, you wouldn't want nothing to do with that shit. You know what I'm saying? They getting penetrated in the butt and all kinds of crazy shit. And you trying to be where they at. You trying to be on that YouTube shit for them. And it's like, nah, bro, you don't know what's going on behind that 1.5 million views. You don't know what's going on, what they had to do, that sacrificed their soul for the sake of that. And again, I'm not blaming everybody. I'm not saying everybody who reached success is gave up their soul. But you understand what soul is, even in general. So your soul is tied to your time, tied to your experience. So you selling your soul is any form of you spending time on shit you don't want to do. But again, at the same time, we have to balance it out. We understand that in this world, there's a way to play the game, and you got to figure out a way that works for you. Some people worked out a way that helps them save more time for other things. But until you get to that point, until you've created, and that's the thing too, because you could complain all day about not wanting to engage in these things, but the others, again, we got to think in solutions. We got to start talking solutions. If you don't like clocking in, you better work your ass up to get something substantial and a foundation for you to not have to. Some kind of independent business, some type of connection or group of individuals around you, community that y'all could work together. That's what it's all about. And we have to understand, like, again, back to reality. The system ain't right. And until the system get right, we still gonna be happy. We're dependent. You're dependent on other people's sense of reality if you don't create a system for you. Therefore, like, that's the example. Until you get some kind of form or system that helps you generate income and resources to do the things you want to do and you need to do and the responsibilities you got, you're going to have to rely on somebody else's system. And right now, that's what you see the majority of the world on, all the way down to their minds, religion. Because you cannot find God yourself, you have to depend on someone else's worldview of what God is. So you ain't got no real genuine creativity or idea. You just leaning on the next man's idea and creativity and imagination. That's why your life seems to be very average and mundane, because the second you start tapping into your own uniqueness, it get a little scary. And if you let that scary keep you from actually being you, well, guess what? You lost the game of life. You lost it. You know what I'm saying? You said never live by your ego. You're on edge and God. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. But you said, shout out to Ethereum. You said the knowledge for ears to see and eyes to hear. Real shit. You said, right. All I ever shown was my authentic self. When you real, it ain't hard to do. Right. It ain't hard to do. And and see, the thing is, you get hit with challenges, but those are just things to, again, expand your spirit. Your spirit, it's like a muscle too. So when you go through those moments of other people questioning you, trying to get you to question yourself, that's just another opportunity for you to strengthen your spirit and get back on track and put things in motion. You know what I'm saying? You said, oh, okay, that's cool, man. I don't know about your life story though. Tunnel Vision. Shout out to Tunnel Vision. He said, I am. We didn't ask about your life story. You said, well, Father, well, I hope you got some spirituality to teach your kids, to get them on some, I hope you raise your kids to be themselves. And I hope you guide them through this battle we have between desires that lead to distractions, and we don't get too caught up in these different pockets of, these big boxes of energy. You know what I'm saying? He said, nah, I was just telling my shit. Yeah, right. As soon as I clicked the video, real shit. Like, that's what it's about, bro. Because it's so many, especially now, the distractions are rampant. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, that's where the spiritual warfare is. It's in the mind. So everything that you see that's flashy light, look at me energy, it's a distraction designed to get your mind. And once your mind is so wrapped up into these things, you forget what you was doing, your purpose. You forget why you was getting up in the morning and doing this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You get upset about these little petty things when it's like, bro, there's so much more that you can do. But the issue is, we sit and we start to accumulate all these ideas without actually, you know what I'm saying? We get caught up in the why this, why I gotta go through that, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. He said, motherfucker started exposing his life story, he living his car, right? Exactly. You gotta get with the times, boy. It's Moon and Sagittarius, we gotta expand. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no deep. He said slow bus. It's crazy. He said the saga continues. Right, exactly. We got to keep it moving. Y'all know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Astrology, one of the better tools to know what to be doing at what time. You know what I'm saying? And right now, Moon and Sagittarius, all of them, like, I broke that down in the other live stream, but it's a try for you to have more faith in your healing process and your spiritual path in general. It's like, have more faith in that and actually look at this stage as something to expand on, not escape from, because this is where it gets a little dicey, because it gets a little scary. When you start to feel God working through you, it get a little scary. It get a little, I don't know, I don't know, is they really gonna connect to this? You start losing faith. And again, a lot of things going on with the Virgo energy. We feel the pressure of reality, so we questioning whether or not we even on the right track. And the thing is, we gonna fuck up, we gonna make mistakes, but the thing about it is, utilize a mistake, be a real person, be a real spirit, and utilize that mistake. Hey, I know I made a mistake. That's what I meant to do, because that's the thing. If we take an authority for your life, when you take authority and power control over your life, you already in a flow to be able to utilize anything that gets thrown at you as a result of your choices, because your choices are your own. The only time you start to experience things that's out of your hands is when you don't make a decision and you made a choice, but it wasn't really your choice. You was possessed by a thought, feeling that was really masked as a desire, and you ran into something that wasn't meant for you. You was out of your truth. That's the only time something manifests in your life that's out of your hands. So ain't nothing to complain about, nothing to cry about. It is what it is. The bed that you made, the situation you standing in. Do something with it. That's what God. And again, second you start to actually do something, all of a sudden, all those questions you had become answered. The universe always gonna fucking answer. You know what I'm saying? The universe always gonna give you an answer, but you have to do something. You gotta make a decision, and it gets dicey. Next moon, we got what? Capricorn. So it's about to get a little cold. And a lot of the decisions we make now, we gonna be questioning them like, whoa, hey, was that actually a profitable decision with my expression? A profitable, reasonable, realistic situation? Was that a realistic way of setting up my stage? And the thing about it is, just don't be afraid of the answer. Be willing to get the answer. Be willing to get it back. And as soon as you get that back, that's how the universe speaks to you and through you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta move with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't let shit pass and shit. But I'm finna be late. But I gotta clock in. I love y'all. Much love, much love. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Y'all be easy. Y'all be safe. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? No more bullshit. No more tough talk. We actually here to be examples and lead the way. Much love.